Welcome back to another Extra Time Football video where I will be discussing the Netherlands versus Japan game, which on paper seemed to be the most attractive, or at least one of the most attractive games of the first match day of the group games. If you saw the first half, the first half just really didn't have much to it. Japan was willing to sit deep, and although the first 5-ish minutes or so, both teams looked like they were okay with going back and forth. Japan then decided just to sit back. The Netherlands just didn't know how to break through and get through to, penetrate the Japanese box and get those shots going and, do what they had to do. But that second half was a roller coaster of immense. 2-2 overall in the final score. What a game in that second half too. Before we move on to the second half and everything that happened, although not much did happen in the first half, I do want to applaud Malin for trying to get as many shots as possible on board for the Dutch. He did make a few attempts there. He was the closest one. That Japanese keeper Suzuki, hell of a performance today. Not overall throughout the game, just making save after save. So he was an integral part about why the Netherlands only scored 2. Where after that second half they could have easily scored more and even won the game, but they walked away with the draw. Lucky to do so, after the Dutch did dominate the game. But if I learned anything from that second half performance is I don't know why the Japanese sit back so much. It is very clear that when they are against, their backs are against the ropes and they're down in the score, they have no problem with attacking. Maeda up top, he did cause enough chances. Nakamura, I know he was one of the ones that got the goal, but he did get a shot or two off in the first half that were pretty close too. Kubo got one of those assists right there. So, overall a good performance from their attackers. As far as the Dutch attackers go, Malin was the one that was really getting the shots off. Somerville was more productive in the second half. In the first half, just wasn't really. I don't know if they were just not trying to play through him or if he just didn't feel like he could cut through at those times. But in that first half, they were clearly going more through Cody Gakpo. And as they kept mentioning in the commentary throughout the game, he just keeps cutting back to that right foot. His moves started getting predictable, and then after the second, third, the Japanese players were reading him like a book. They knew exactly what he was going to do, and they were there to stop every single one of his moves. He doesn't bring too much unpredictability to him, and you knew pretty much what he was going to do, and the Japanese players were reading him pretty well. Again, want to highlight the performance from Suzuki. Amazing keeper. Made multiple goal-stopping shots there throughout the game, and the second half starts with the Virgil van Dijk header, where I did believe he was going to be one of the biggest threats right there on the dead ball. He is the tallest, or at least one of the tallest specimens on this field, and he was going to win a lot of aerial duels. At least I thought he would win more aerial duels. I believe he was only 1 or 2 that he won offensively, but what more could he want if one of them does turn out to be a goal and he scores the opener right there? Hell of a header too to place it in the far bottom left for the keeper where you just couldn't reach it. The Japanese players, again, once they got scored on, the pressure was still on them for like 5 or so minutes, but then they started pushing up, got that equalizer, and the Netherlands get their goal again to go back 2-1 up. And the final minutes, I believe it's the 86th if I'm not mistaken, Japanese players get the late game equalizer right there, and through a header of all places. I did believe that game would have another goal or two in it when it was 2-1, and in my mind I still thought that it was going to be a draw. Like, after seeing the first half, I just knew this game was going to be a draw. When the game was down 2-1, I had a feeling the Japanese players were still going to tie it, but I did not expect it to be through a header or through a corner right there. So props to the Japanese players for being persistent and getting that late game equalizer through the header. And I want to thank you again for tuning in, and please like and subscribe if you like the video. And hopefully I get to catch you again soon on the next video where I will be covering the Ecuador versus Ivory Coast game.